Hi everyone, welcome to MOE's Facebook Live session, Insights into the World Beyond School. My name is Sherry and I'll be your host for today. Today's chat is part of our engagement series, A World Beyond School, where parents, educators and students can gain insights and perspectives on what the future of world could look like. The global landscape has become increasingly interconnected and volatile to changes. To thrive in a dynamic environment, our students need to draw from a robust lifelong learning ecosystem. Just as the global complexities are here to stay, a never-stop learning attitude must be embraced. In today's session, we'll focus on ways to support our children in developing the tenacity to learn continuously and the willingness to upskill and reskill to meet evolving world demands. I am certain that the perspectives and strategies shared by our panelists will help us understand the importance of developing values, attitudes, mindsets, and competencies in our children so they can later thrive in the future world of work. The session will be shaped largely by you, our viewers, so we encourage you to actively ask your questions. Before we begin, I would like to remind you viewers to only ask questions related to the topic, to be respectful in asking your questions, and share your experiences and tips with fellow viewers in the comment section. Let us now turn to our panel for tonight. We have Christy, Alexander, and Zhi-En. Can we invite each of you to briefly introduce yourselves? Maybe we can start with Christy.
Hi, good evening, young learners and learners young at heart. I'm Christy, I'm from Ngee Polytechnic, and I work with a team of passionate adult educators to help adult learners fulfill your dreams.
Hi, my name is Alex and I'm a final year tourism and resort management student in Ngee Polytechnic, and previously before this I was enrolled in service management in ITE College West.
Hi everyone, I'm Zhi-En and I'm a Psychology and Communication Management graduate from SMU. Currently I'm working in HR in the public sector.
Thank you, panelists. Now let's warm up with a very simple game. I have a basket with some questions and would like to invite you guys to pick one. So then maybe you can pick one first. Alex? Christy? Now can I invite you guys to read out your questions?
My question is, what was your dream job when you were a child? I think since young I've always wanted to be a film director. I wanted to be part of something that would impact lives.
My question is, if my educational journey was a food, what kind of food would it be?
For me, it's a rojak because I went to different schools. Like I went after secondary school, I went to IT, then I went to Poly. So it's like a mix and match of different things and learned different skills and different attributes. So it's like a rojak. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Zhi-En and Alex. Okay, so my question goes, what's an unconventional thing you've done to pursue an interest? And for me, I think it would be in my later half of my working life, I've been very curious about adult learning and the motivation behind adult learning and why and when do we apply our learning. And that took me on a journey of 4 years part-time study to get my doctorate, and of course in adult learning. So yeah, that's really one very unconventional thing that I've done about pursuit of interest.
Thank you to our panelists. So I hope that you got to know them a bit better. So now we're just going to kick off the session. So to start off today's session, I'd like to ask our viewers a question. If either you or your child are currently going through an education or career transition, do you feel overwhelmed or are you more excited? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. In NTUC's 2023, the new Gen Worker Report, the top 3 concerns surfaced by youth about transitioning into the workforce are being able to adapt at work, being able to decide on a career path without being limited by the expectations of others, and being able to achieve work-life balance. Today, let's chat about continuous learning, be it upskilling or reskilling, to meet evolving job demands. We'll also touch on ways on how we can support our youth as they explore post-secondary pathways, especially during this season of direct school admissions and early admissions exercises. So, viewers, you're encouraged to ask questions in the comment section. Please keep your questions related to our topic. So while we wait for the questions to come in, let's just hear some thoughts from our panelists on the topic. So the first question of the night goes to Christy. So
Okay.
Christy, your expertise is in continuing education and training. Could you share your observations on how job demands are evolving? Do you also have some examples of how upskilling or reskilling has positively impacted your adult learners?
Okay, thank you, Sherry. I think my take of how job demands are evolving is beginning to look, or it has been looking very multidisciplinary, right? Challenges and workplace problems are no longer single discipline, right? You need multidisciplinary skills and you need the ability to work with experts across disciplines. So that's how job demands are evolving, and emerging skill sets are definitely in the digital space, in the green space, and even in the care space. Of course, not forgetting advanced manufacturing as well. So of course, I have many examples of how upskilling and reskilling have positively impacted our adult learners, and the latest you have read yesterday, you know, dear viewers, in the Straits Times, or was it yesterday or today, about Madam Geraldine, right, who pursue diploma with Ngee Polytechnic at a very advanced age, and how she has been able to transit or return back to work. So there are many, many examples, and it's just not Ngee Polytechnic. I think in the Straits Times, yeah, you could have read about at least 3 examples. Yeah. Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, so we hear this word multidisciplinary quite a lot, so thank you, Christy, for that. So now let's invite Alex and Zi-En to share your education pathways and maybe talk about some challenges that you guys face and how you discovered your strengths and interests. Alex, maybe you can start.
Okay, so I was a normal academic, so I took my N levels. So I wasn't doing very well in school. So I had to be called for like parent-teacher meeting all the time, and that's when my parents sat down with me, and they realized that I'm not very good with like hard memorization, and maybe it wouldn't be so good for me to take my O levels in Sec 5. So maybe I could have gone to a new school for a new challenge and learn something more practical and more hands-on. So that's why they actually encouraged me to go to ITE and to get a new environment and also be more hands-on. And that's where I saw that I have an interest in working in the hospitality industry, and that's why I started pursuing my diploma in tourism and resort management.
For me, I think upon graduation from secondary school, I was considering whether I should enter junior college or polytechnic route. And for me, right after O levels, I went into the junior college route first. After a few months, I realized that the academic route was not really for me, so I transferred out of junior college into Polytechnic, where I did my diploma in human resource management with psychology. And I think through the many modules, through interactions with my lecturers and understanding how more about the industry, I think I realized that I have a passion in working with people and understanding people, and hence I went on to pursue a career in HR now.
So thank you, Alex and Zi-En. So now we have our first question of the night. So Christy here is a parent of 5 children. So our first question is, as a parent of 5, Christy, how did you help your children discover their strengths and interests? How do you guide them towards doing more of what they were good at?
Wow. Okay, so this brings me down memory lane because my 5 are pretty grown, right? Eldest is 24 and youngest is 14. But when they were very young, it's really a lot about exposure. If you ask my eldest, wow, she went through a lot of, what I call enrichment exposure, ballet, music, yada, yada, yada. And it's really through early exposure that my kids come to realize their strengths, like the third one in art and design, right? And their interest. So how did I didn't do this alone, right? If my husband is tuning in, thank you so much. We make such good partners, right? How did we as a collective, together with our parents and my parents-in-law, guide them towards doing more of what they were good at? I think what helped us in our family is that we give our children a lot of space. and that liberty to know, or that knowledge that it's okay to fail, right? And whatever happens outside or whatever mistake that they make, don't worry, daddy and mommy, we are behind you and we are home. Yeah, so that's the kind of assurance to give them, allow them to explore the space, know that it's okay to fail and we've got their backs. Yeah.
I agree with that. I would like to think that if my parents are tuning in as well, I think that they also gave me a lot of space back when I was a kid to also explore the various things that I wanted to do lah. So I'm grateful for that as well. So now our next question, we can move on to Alex and Zhi-En.
I think for me, it would definitely be adaptability. In this ever-changing economy, the working landscape is constantly evolving. I think there are many up-and-coming skills, coding, automation, artificial intelligence that are upcoming. I think adaptability would definitely be key for me to navigate in this industry, because as I'm working in HR, there are many processes that have moved on to automation, and I think if you are adaptable, you'll be able to move along as technology advances, and I think it's a skill that all of us should really have, because the only constant is change. I think adaptability would be one skill that I think is extra important.
I think I would say time management, because when in school, a lot of our assignments, they're very close to the due date and they're very jam-packed together, and they're also very close to like exam periods. So you need to be able to juggle your time and to handle your different commitments as well in school as well as outside school. So I think time management is definitely important skill that you can have when you're studying. Yeah.
So we have adaptability and time management as one or two very key skills that one should have. So now the next question would be to Christy. So Christy, again, how have you prepared your children for transitions in life, be it from primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, and tertiary to work?
Again, I'm sharing this from my journey, and what works for me may not work for all, yeah? So for my 5 children, I think my husband and I, our focus in every of their transition has always been about community. You know, so when they first step into primary school or transition into the next level, which is secondary school, our focus at the beginning of the journey is always to find out and to encourage them to form their own group of friends, their community, ensure that they are well settled in. It's only when that support system is in place, then you can layer on other things, right, like learning, like academics. But if that support structure during that transition is not in place, the kids or the children will find it very difficult to even cope with very basic expectations. So that has been our journey.
Thank you. So viewers, thank you for your questions so far. So just please keep your questions going and we'll post them to the panelists as and when they come in. It's sometimes hard for parents to ultimately know what is the best decision for our children. So maybe you could just enlighten some of us here. Alex?
I mean, for me, honestly, I don't think I would. If I could turn back time, I wouldn't change anything because it has really helped me grow a lot in going after not doing exceptionally well for my N levels. It made me realize that I should really try harder in school and really take up something in an interest that I have and learn something that I would enjoy pursuing in the future, or maybe something I enjoy learning. So that, if not for what happened in that journey as I have experienced, I don't think I would have grown as much as right now.
So basically your life experiences have shaped you to be who you are today, right?
Yeah, in a way, but yeah.
Okay. Then would you change anything?
I think my answer is quite similar to Alex. I don't think I would have done anything differently if I were to turn back time. There were many points in my education journey in Polytechnic where I really wanted to go back to junior college, I think I always had the mindset that the grass is always greener on the other side. What if I stayed in JC? Furthermore, it's only a 2-year program as compared to Polytechnic where it's 3 years. But I think after all, I realized that the grass is always greener at where I water it. I decided to really focus on poly and stop thinking about junior college. And I'm not encouraging anyone to go to JC then go to poly, but I think for me, I am thankful that I got to experience the junior college side of the post-secondary pathway. And thereafter I realized that, okay, the academic route is really not for me. And I think I'm thankful that I was bold enough to make the change after a couple of months to Polytechnic route.
So just now, Alex, Zi-En and Christy, they referred to a support structure that needs to be in place. So maybe you guys could share how have you received this support from family, friends or teachers in pursuing your education pathways? Alex?
I think I'm very thankful that my parents opened many insights, didn't really shoot down the different pathways I could take, and they were more open to where I could go after secondary school or even after IT, and let the decision really up to me, and they guided me through on where I had interest in or where I enjoyed learning. And also my teachers, they also, after when I got my results, even in secondary school and in IT, they really did guide me and also give me advice on where to really decide what I wanted to do and study in the future.
So Alex mentioned being open. Zi-En, do you agree with that? Like for parents to be open?
I think definitely parents should be open. I think as students ourselves, we should be open as well. Even if there is a course that you would particularly like to pursue in Polytechnic and you realize that your results might not make the cut for it, I think the key thing is not to be closed-minded, to be open to a different course of study. Perhaps if it's something that could interest you, you can consider pursuing it. I think other than what he mentioned about parents, I think my secondary school teachers were quite a huge support to me as well. They did give me advice. Both of them were from junior college, both of my secondary school teachers, and they did encourage me to pursue the junior college route, which I did. Thereafter, my parents did support me as well when I told them that I wanted to transition to the Polytechnic route instead. So I think around me, there were many sources of support that I've gotten, be it my teachers, my parents, friends around me as well. They did give me guidance and advice on how to navigate the post-secondary school route.
Christy?
Whether I've received support?
Yes, or maybe from your children's teachers.
Yeah, so definitely, for all my 5 children, the teachers in the schools have really, really been supportive, right? And just riding on what Zi-En and Alex have shared, for parents who are tuning in, it would really help, right? After a long day in school, I'm talking to myself as well. I still have a Sec 2, 14 years old, reminding myself as well that instead of asking, how did the test go, or how, what tests are coming out, what exams are coming out, what projects do you have to hand in, sometimes the conversation could be about, who do you have lunch with? What did so and so do today with you? To kind of have a sense of the friendship and the structure of support that they have in school. It's a reminder to me as well, dear parents. Yes.
So we have a question from Evelyn and Jojo. I guess this question is directed to Christy. Can you share some life examples of how do you encourage your child to have a stable community? So for example, how do you encourage your 5 children to build strong friendships?
Let me just share a very recent example. So my third one came home one day and she said, look, Mom, I want to do my internship overseas. Right? And then I went like, really? And then she said, yeah, Jeje did it. So why can't I, right? So I say, okay. But the third one is younger than Cheche when Cheche went to do her overseas internship. Right? So how did I encourage my third one to have stable community friendships, right? For my example, for my journey, it's about my husband and I getting to know their friends when she was on overseas internship. You know, flying in to settle her in, getting to know their friends, and even now knowing her circle of friends to ensure that once in a while when we check in with her, she's still in touch with her friends and they're still hanging out. Yeah, so sometimes it's about parental involvement to the extent that the children likes, not too invasive, but to the extent that they would like us to support, to be involved with their friends as well. Yeah.
So maybe here I can just quickly ask Zi-En, do your parents know your friends?
I think they do. In fact, I always put a name to their faces. So my parents would always like to see photos of my friends. So I do tell them who my friends are, and they know. I mean, they always mix up the names. But
Yes.
but
Guilty as charged.
but they do know my circle
Roughly
of
they
friends.
know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice to know. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. So this is a question from Shui to all of you here. So what do you think are the core values that are most vital for the next generation? Do you think these are similar or different for the current batch of youths? Alex, do you want to kick us off?
Maybe it's to be less complacent, because now everything is very easily reached, especially like with AI technology like ChatGPT. Now it's very easy to come up with a solution or solve a problem, and this is just the beginning. I think it's gonna get even better and even easier in the time to come. So people might get too reliant on such help and platforms. So maybe to be also rely on yourself, and also to be self-assured that you have your own ideas too, and you don't always have to rely on the internet or AI platforms, and to be more self-assured. Yeah.
So do you think this will also apply to our current youth today and not just the next generation?
Yeah, it's for myself as well, because I do use it as well. Like, for example, ChatGPT, but I also need to remember that I also have my own set of ideas, and I can also rely less on it as well.
Christy, would you agree?
Oh yes, certainly. And to add on to what Alex shared, I think core values that are most vital for the next generation, as I am able to look out, it's really that of agility and adaptability, right? Because the things that you guys, the complexity that you guys are facing and the younger generation are facing is really a level many levels higher than what perhaps in my generation I have to face, right? So definitely agility and complexity, and agility and adaptability.
Zi-En?
I think to add on to what both of them have mentioned, I think resilience is quite an important value as well. I think they always coin us as the strawberry generation. We are inflexible, we are unable to adapt to the changing environment. But I think with the new generation, I think resilience, perseverance and persistence in pursuing the goals that you want to achieve is very important. I think goals are not easily achievable, but it's not the end of the world if you fail to achieve them. And I think with perseverance and resilience, you will be able to attain the goal if you persevere through and not let the setbacks push you back from achieving them.
Okay. So we'll now move on to another question from our viewers Azim and Joanne. So for students who don't really understand which path to take or are very chill about their pathways, what is the advice for them? How can we help youths to be more sure or more motivated? Maybe we can let the youth answer first.
Oh yes,
Zi-En,
please.
do you want to answer as a youth?
I think in recent years, I've heard about this particular test called the RISEC test. It's 6 characteristics, basically realistic, investigative, artistic, social,
Enterprising,
enterprising,
and conventional.
yeah, what she said. Yeah, okay. And I think this test is very helpful in terms of identifying the strengths and the weaknesses and interests of what you would like to pursue. And I think it's a helpful gauge in terms of the general direction that you can take possible after secondary school. And for me, I think I didn't really know what I wanted to pursue upon graduation from secondary school. At such a young age of 16, how do you know what you want to be upon graduation when you're working, right? So I think I would encourage maybe to take a step back from what you want to achieve out of your post-secondary school pathway, instead of looking at instead of planning way ahead of how the full-time job that you want to take. I think you can ask yourself what you want to achieve from your post-secondary school pathway. If you are looking to perhaps gain experience in the industry, maybe the Polytechnic sector would be more applicable for you. If you are really, really unsure, you prefer to have maybe 2 more years to consider your post tertiary education pathway, then perhaps the junior college route would be more applicable for you.
Alex, do you have any advice for our youths?
I definitely agree with what Zhen said. I also think it's important to remember that you're not alone. Like there are definitely different pillars of support that you can rely on. Maybe you could ask your parents. You could also take advice from your teachers because they are the ones that see you every day. They know how your work style is, your work ethics, and maybe they could see you in a different perspective that you don't see yourself. I'm speaking from experience because I had a good pillar of support from my family, my friends, and also my teachers as well. I know some of them are tuning in right now, so thank you. You know
And
who
say
you
hello.
are. Yeah.
Teachers Day.
Yeah. And it's also important to, when like the different pathway educational schools, like in Poly, IT, JC, or whatever, they open up their open houses for you to really explore. I think it's important to go and check out what really interests you and what you could see yourself doing, and that would really open a bigger picture for yourself and might paint a picture on where you would like to take your pathway to the next step and where you would like to go. Yeah.
So we have a teacher here. Christy, do you have like chill students? What kind of advice would you give your chill students?
Okay, so I just summarizing at this point, we heard about support structure that they had, right, and the openness to explore options. If I may just share my journey as a mother, all right, about youth. So my eldest one came back one day and she said, "Look, Mom, I want to take a gap year." Right? And she was in the midst of her uni education in public policy. And then I said, "Okay, I'm fine with you taking a gap year, right? But what do you want to do?" So there must be a plan, right? Letting them explore, but there must be a deliberate plan. And she said, "I want to go Jakarta and do an internship in marketing." And then I'm like, public policy, marketing, where is that going to head, right? But lo and behold, she's finishing her studies and she's finding her own space in public policy and marketing, but in this very instance, promoting Singapore. Right? So my learning journey as a mother with my eldest one is, you've got to give them that space to find themselves, today's youths. And once they are able to find themselves, they will be motivated. The rest is history. The other advice I want to give to parents and to youth who are tuning in, they have also shared different pathways, right? But one pathway that has not quite been explored, and parents and young learners, please listen to this. If there's only one thing that you can take away, please hear me out on this. There's actually an increasing work-study pathway, right? Where youths who are not quite clear, want a career test drive, can work and study at the same time. While progressing in their academic structure or progression, they are given structured training mentorship and coaching at the workplace. For really in life, it's about work and learning, right? For all of us at work, the workplace is never in silos, right? You are always working and learning at the same time. So, yeah, enough said.
We have one more question for you. So, what advice would you give to youth on continuous learning, upskilling, and reskilling?
It is never too early for the youth of today. Right? It is really never too early. And the other, if I could layer on, is think of learning as gaming. Really, I mean, youth of today, I look at my boys, they are forever gaming, right? But really, learning at the essence of it is similar to gaming. It's like you reach this level of competency, you gain a badge. Now what's next? You gain another level of competency, you earn a badge. So that would be my pitch to the youth. Never too early.
Never too early, never too late as well, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. That would be for the young at heart.
Yeah, okay, yes. Yeah, thank you, Christy, for your sharing. So, just now we have actually asked our viewers, which of these skills do you think will be important for our children's transition in their education and career journey? So, let's take a look at the results. So, about 38% of you have cited adaptability and flexibility, 36% cited communication and collaboration skills, while 26% cited decision making and problem solving skills. Yeah. So I think it's not a surprise that so many of them cited adaptability, right? Which was something that I think all of you mentioned as well. What do you guys think about communication and collaboration? Do you think that these are also very important skills? Alex?
For sure, I think it's an important skill because I didn't really have good communication skills back then. It's only when I had more exposure and more experience when I started in IT, like being an MC or going for different competitions or various aspects. So it does help or not I wouldn't be able to be sitting here speaking
on a live stream.
Yeah, and also when you go to Poly especially, you're going to be presenting quite often, especially for my course in the business course. You have tutorials every week, you have presentations every week. So it's important to get this experience now and be more open and build these skills now before outside of school. Yeah, so I do agree with the audience. It's a very important skill to have.
Then what do you think about decision making and problem solving skills? Are these skills critical?
I think definitely. I think especially for problem solving skill, I think with the technological advancements in AI, machine learning, automation, and so on, there is an increasing reliance on artificial intelligence to help us solve problems. And I think if we are not careful, it could turn out to be up and coming problem for us if we are constantly relying on AI to solve our problems. And I think critical thinking would come into picture as well. If you encounter a problem, what is your first instinct? Do you use your brain to think about the solution, or do you go to AI and ask them to solve it for you? I think with technological advancements, with the evolving working landscape, I think it is a question for all of us how important problem-solving skill is and how we are able to train ourselves to be able to solve problems better.
Christy, do you have anything else to add? Do you agree with the skills?
Definitely, I agree with the skills and of course with Zi-En and Alex's sharing. If I could just layer on from a very practical or practice lens, when Zi-En mentioned about problem solving, and again it's about multidisciplinary kind of problems, right, at the workplace. And when Alex talked about communication and collaboration, it's about connecting people, not just pitching my idea, but the ability to connect people and the ability to connect the dots. Yeah.
So we'll now move on to our next question from Kalin. So we asked youth to focus on building their skill sets, but some employers are still focusing on the degree that one has. how do we create a balance between skill sets and academic qualifications? Christy, do you want to start us off?
I tend to think that there are increasing pool of progressive employers, all right, who looks beyond the academic qualifications and really into the skills that a candidate has to get the job done. All right, so I choose to believe that, and in my interactions with the corporates that Ngee Continuing Education and Training Academy work with, definitely. You know, it's just like recently we pitched to one of the local banks, and it's about, okay, we don't need the qualifications, but Christy, please ensure that the team is trained with the skills. Right. So, but how do we really create that balance between skill set and academic qualifications? Is really about demonstrating our ability via portfolio, via projects, you know, to convince the employers that are coming up. I still believe that there are progressive employers and an increasing pool of progressive employers.
I think given the emphasis on the various skill sets, like we shared so many examples of the skills that we all should have, I think employers are also looking at all these skills during a job interview, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly.
Zen, Alex, do you have anything to add to this?
I think jumping on to what Christy has mentioned, from the HR perspective, I think many of us are actually looking for basic qualifications like a degree, maybe the requirements that you see on LinkedIn for job postings, requirements, a degree in a certain area. And I think from the employer perspective, it's because the degree acts as a benchmark for you to possess this knowledge, skills, abilities that we are looking for. But ultimately, the question that HR has is whether the candidate has the job fit for this particular job that we are looking for, and therefore the degree serves as a benchmark for that. But I think like what Christy has mentioned, there are progressive employers. Ultimately, it's not really about the degree that you are holding, but ultimately what skills do you possess, what competencies do you have, what knowledge that are applicable to the job that you are applying for, that you are well equipped with. So even without a degree, if you are able to produce a portfolio that really represents the job that you are looking for, it is a perfect fit for the job that you're applying for. Even without a degree, I think employers will even be open to hiring you if you possess the qualifications, the beyond just the qualifications, but the skills, abilities that you have matches the job. I think it would definitely be value adding.
Okay, so moving on, we have a question from Shu Yi to Alex and Zi-En. So there's been a lot of media coverage about youth changing jobs frequently. Do you foresee your pathways deviating significantly as you progress in the career journey? Alex?
Oh, big question for someone who hasn't started.
What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, heavy question, but I think I do see myself working in the industry, the hospitality industry,
right.
or in the tourism industry. But whether it could be the same one job, I don't know. But it's definitely an eye-opener to explore different career options in the same industry, because like what we've been learning so far, you know, I'm not just enjoying one particular field or one particular module. You know, I'm enjoying different aspects of what I'm learning.
Yeah.
So definitely it could be explored, and I could jump around. But maybe if I do this in 15 years time, then I'll tell you again what's the real answer.
I mean, there's a reason why multidisciplinary was mentioned so many times in our chats today, right? To show that actually, you know, we are exposed to different skill sets. I think youth today can do anything that they want to do, they can try out. But I'll check in with you in 15 years. Zi-En, as someone who just started working.
Okay, I think for the term job hopper, I don't think it's foreign to any of us. It's a term that employers coin youths, especially who are constantly changing jobs every few months or even a year or two, just because perhaps they have a better career opportunity or something fits with them better than the current job. But I think for me personally, I don't think I would expect a huge change in the near future. I think as long as it's something that I'm passionate about, I think pay is important, but I think it will be secondary for me. I don't think pay would be a top priority for me at this point in time. I think it's really asking yourself what fulfills you in your career. If it's something that you feel fulfillment, it's something that you are passionate about, I don't think it's likely for you to change that quickly in the next in the next couple of months or years.
Could I just add on to what Alex and has shared? Yeah, so again, sharing a perspective with the youth of today, right? It is very important as the world become more complex, technical obsolescence become more rapid, disruptions become heightened. It is very important to stay open and be aware of adjacencies. By adjacencies, I mean, like, for instance, Alex, you're trained in tourism, but it need not always be tourism. The skill set that you have, like you just shared, right, could be adjacently applied. Could it be in the care economy? You know, so that is something that I think in today's youth, unlike my generation, right, it's also about staying open and be very, very aware of adjacencies where if disruptions hits you, you are ready to pivot because you have transferable skill sets. Yeah.
Yeah, so given the many changes and disruptions like you mentioned, how do you think parents and youth can stay updated with industry trends?
Me?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
I think the youths have their own ways of staying updated, right? Their channels and all. And then, of course, some of us at my age group, the parents amongst us, we also do subscribe to channels, newsletters and all. But I would say that increasingly, okay, now this is not a pitch for SSG, Skills Future Singapore, or Workforce Singapore. No, I'm not commissioned by them to do that whatsoever. But increasingly, we will notice that these agencies are bringing industry trends to the neighborhoods, right? Like for instance, last weekend, there's a learning neighborhood by Southwest CDC, right? So where, you know, training providers are there, the latest trends and industry developments are being shared with workshops and all. So these are very quick, accessible ways beyond digital channels, beyond newsletters, and of course, all the networking sessions that we can lay our hands on now, be it with our alma mater and in the workplaces that we have. Yeah.
Alex, how do you stay updated on industry trends?
I think a lot of the information is out there. It's very easily accessible. So it's about the effort, whether you want to search it or not. Like even for like students, we have the free Straits Times account, right? The school gives us an account. So we're very we have accessibility to really get all the information on the industry, and like, you know, I can even say for myself, it's quite texting sometimes to read a whole article, right? So there's even easier methods now, like Telegram, the Straits Times summary for you. So yeah, I think it's just about whether exploring and finding it out, because it's definitely out there for you to go and read and explore. Yeah.
Then do you use these apps as well, or what do you use to stay updated?
I think I do use Straits Times, but other than that, I think in a popular app that many of us are familiar with, TikTok, I think beyond just mindless scrolling, there's actually a lot of information that are useful for youths nowadays on TikTok. The more you interact with this content, the more it appears on your FYP. So I think many industry trends are available on TikTok shared by industry experts. But other than that, I think it's really important to be open to start conversations with your lecturers, with your professors. They are the subject matter experts at the different fields that you are in, the specific industries that you are in, and think it's good to have conversations with them about it as well.
So thank you. So now let's move on to talk about how we can support our children's pursuits. So this is a question from Daily. I think this is for Christy. When is the right time to talk to my children about their potential pathways?
maybe I will like to hear from Zi-en and Alex first. Like, when, from your point of view, when was that right time that your parents?
Is there a
Approach
right
you,
time? Yeah.
So,
Okay, I think I wouldn't encourage you to start when your child is like 13. I think at that current age, the mindset that your child has probably hasn't kicked in to a career pathway yet. I think a good time would probably be 15, 16 years old. I think your child would probably be mature enough to have an understanding of where you are coming from. If not, it might come off as naggy. Maybe parents can relate to this. I think it's also important to be open as well in listening to what your kids have to say. Maybe you have a certain mindset or a certain direction that you want your kids to take or pursue, but I think being open and hearing about what your children have to say is important as well. Yeah. When do you think would be a good time?
16?
Yeah, so good.
I think yes, 15, 16. Just maybe either closing towards the major exam or just after, because that's when you have a big window of time to really decide where you want to go, what you want to study, and what you really want to explore. And yeah, something like what Zhen said, it's about being open-minded and not shooting down ideas and pathways. And that's exactly what like my parents did. They really gave me the pros and cons of the different areas of where I'm going and what would really suit me, because not every school will work for everyone, and there's definitely something for someone. Yeah.
So Christy, is there a right time?
Okay, so if my number 4 and number 5 are tuning in, okay, I will check in with you in a year, and the other one 3 years time. Yeah.
Sec 2, right?
Yes. But hearing in from Zi-en and Alex, I think the right time to talk to our children is really when they are ready and they come to us. Because again, from my experience, the first three of them, actually, they were the ones who did their homework and whatever research that they had. And when it's about pathways, that's when they started to engage my husband and I. Yeah. So yeah, just listening in to Zi-en and Alex about 15, 16, maybe later. But yeah, when they are ready, they will definitely engage us now. Yes.
I think that's very important. Yeah.
That's
so
my
maybe there's
experience.
no right time per se,
Yeah.
but whenever they are ready, and then you just need to stay open to
Yes.
have the honest conversations.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a question to all panelists. How can we manage our own expectations as parents, because we have invested so much in them, right? And focus on the child's needs as the center of decision making.
I think it's me.
You can start.
Yeah, parents, I feel you.
Yeah.
I really, really do. Right? We walk our own journeys, and the last we want is for our children to fail the same way as we want, as we did lah. Right? So how do we then manage our own expectations? It's not going to be easy. It's really about having that conversation, having that open-mindedness, and at the heart of it is really about the welfare and the well-being of our child. And if that is the center of it all, I think things will fall into place. Yeah, but parents, I hear you, I feel you. Managing our own expectations, our own journey is never easy. It's really easier said than done.
So, do you have anything to add?
I think for expectations, probably parents do have some form of expectation for your child, but I think beyond just that, it's really about believing in your child, in their capabilities. I think from the child's point of view, if they know that their parents believe in their potential, I think it acts as a motivation to really achieve more, instead of, I think to parents, if you are overly pushy to push, if you are wanting to push your child towards a certain goal, if you are overly pushy, I think it pushes them away from you instead.
Yes.
So I think it's really important to see the potential in your child. Maybe they might not be doing as well in school. They do know that they are not performing well, and I think if you are pressuring them. I think it acts as an extra pressure on top of whatever they are feeling. I think really just believing their potential, I think that is really helpful for the child.
Alex, do you agree?
I do, and I think it's also important to remember that every child's expectations differ. Everyone's not the same. Everyone's capabilities are different. So it's also not good to, like, you know, everybody likes to compare each other, or like set the standards. Maybe some parents might be like, why can't you be like student A or student C and you're student B? But I think it's different because everyone's skills are different and they have their expertise in different fields, and I think it's important to be the pillar of support instead of being the adding on of weight, to really see what the child can do better in and explore different options, and to be more open-minded.
So being open and understanding that our children are all different, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. What are some new developments in the current world of work that you have heard about or found interesting? What can our children expect in the future of work? Zen, how do you think the future looks like?
I think for me, I think I mentioned at the start of this panel that I really wanted to be a film director. So I think I've had my fair share of exposure of films that are produced by production company. But I think recently I've heard that you can even use AI to develop a commercial or even a film, and I think that was really surprising for me. I didn't know like artificial intelligence has progressed this far. You don't even need to get out of your house to film something. You can just do it in the comfort of your home using software to just create a video of maybe even someone talking. You can do that in your own home. I think that's really, really interesting.
Alex, what do you think about the future of work?
I agree with Jen, and I'm going to join the AI answer, the bandwagon, because recently I have a module I'm learning now. It's called digital marketing in tourism, and one of our tutorials we actually had to create a Wix website, and we didn't even really have to do much of the brainstorming because there was an AI bot that asked us different questions on how would you like the website to look like, what buttons would you like to have, shortcuts and everything. It was really guiding us step by step on how we would want the website to look like. And this is just the beginning, right? AI has just started to come into our lives and our working style. So I think in the future, I don't even think you might need to type a one-way conversation with the bot. I think it will be way smarter than that. Yeah.
So technology, AI, right? Christy, besides technology and AI, what do you think is in the future of work?
I think for the use of today, the future of work that you're likely going to face would be a lot more complex than we are seeing it right now. A lot more multidisciplinary, definitely. A lot more use of AI and technology, right? But precisely because of that, all the more important, the use of today has to have a certain mastery of human skills. You know, because the bots and your engines and all are going to take over all the problems that technology can solve, right? And then more importantly, where then does the human value add? It will really be the human side of the house. And if you ask any of the working adults, I mean Zi-En right now, right? We would notice that the challenges at work, most times the hardest to resolve is not the technical. It is people. So regardless of advancements in technology, and despite that, it is even more critical that our youth master that human skills in the future of work. That's my take now. Maybe you ask me in 15 years' time with Alex.
Okay, I check in with you again,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So AI technology has been mentioned very frequently. So a question to Alex and Zi-En. We see technology and AI in the future of work. As youths, what are some of you and your peers' hopes or anxieties about the future of work? How would you like your family or friends to support you if you decide on a path less traveled? Alex?
Since we were talking about AI just now, I think one anxiety is that the AI could replace the job itself. So I think in like example in the tourism industry, how AI helps make the job easier is example a chatbot. So example in a website, when a customer is having issues on buying something or trouble navigating the website, now you can use a chatbot and ask questions, and it could help you give you certain answers and direct you to the different location on the website. But in the future, whether it could actually replace, like example, a customer service agent or a service recovery agent, I'm not too sure about that. But I think I'm not too worried about replacement of jobs, because in the tourism or hospitality industry, human touch is very important, and building rapport and relationships. And I don't think that is replaceable by a robot. And so I think it's important that we embrace it, but also don't let it take over us as humans.
I cannot imagine a robot greeting me in the hotel lobby in 15 years' time. Zi-En, have your peers shared with you any worries or anxieties?
I think I do agree with what Alex has mentioned about the anxiety of whether the automation will replace human jobs, and I think it is quite daunting. I think for me especially, even a primary school student has some sort of coding knowledge, and I don't, I think I've been asking myself, would I be on the losing end in a couple of months or years to come, especially if coding is such compulsory skill that even primary school students are equipped with. Would I be on the losing end? But I think as I was thinking about it, I believe in every industry there are tech experts, and I think you can really just leave the automation part to the tech experts, but the question comes back to you on how open are you to be able to adopt these new practices, because as we are working, there are perhaps several practices that we are used to, several styles of working that we are so familiar with, but with automation that comes, how quick are we to openly take on this automation? And I think as long as I'm open to automation, I don't think my job will be replaced by machine learning or AI. I think like what Christy and Alex has mentioned, the human touch cannot be replaced by AI, and I think in many industries, human touch is important, which AI cannot replace.
I think again it's about the willingness to learn, to be open, like what we have mentioned today, right? So we're just going to move on to the final question. So this question is from Retna to all our panelists here. How can we support our children in building the competencies and skills that we all talked about today? So today we mentioned adaptability, flexibility. Maybe we can just go one round and just share how can we support our children in building these competencies. Christy, do you want to start?
I would say lead by example. Really lead by example. And if as parents we adopt a lifelong learning mindset and we practice it, all the more the children see us doing it, they will definitely be more open to building the competencies and skills that is required for the future of work. I would just like to end off with a family that learns together stays together. That's my deep belief.
Alex, how can we support our children?
To write on what Christy said, I do agree with what she said, because if I was what drives me to be more interested in what I learned is my parents taking an interest in what I studied and what I learned, and that really they ask me once in a while, what am I learning in school? What's interesting that is being taught nowadays? And I think having that pillar, like I said earlier, that support, showing an interest, that will really help a child, especially I say for myself as well, to be more interested in what the child is learning and showing an interest. Yeah, that would definitely help.
And I do agree with what Alex has mentioned. I think support is actually quite simple. It's really simply being present in your child's life. If you are present in your child's life, you know their strengths, their weaknesses, their interests, and thereafter, from the child's point of view, knowing that their parents are really interested in their lives, I think it makes them more open to want to share about their own lives as well. And I think with that, when you are present in your child's life, you are in a better position to provide support and to really provide guidance from that point of view.
So with that, thank you to our viewers for your questions and active participation. We are sorry we did not manage to answer your question as the conversations evolved. Now we would like to invite our panelists to share one final word of encouragement to our viewers. So just now, Christy, you said something quite poignant. A family that learns together stays together. Do you have anything else to add, or would you like to elaborate on that?
I think I've elaborated enough about that, but I just like to leave a few words, right? Think adjacencies, all right? I've shared earlier. Stay open and keep learning.
For me, it would be to find an interest in what you're learning, because if you're going to be studying something that you don't enjoy learning, you definitely won't have the capacity or the drive to study. So definitely find something that you find interesting, and yeah.
For me, I think my advice would be really to be open to new experiences. I think that's when you will be open to picking up new interests in your life. And I think if you are closing down opportunities, you are restricting yourself from learning more about yourself and your own interests. So really being open to different opportunities and interests would help you to discover what you're truly passionate about.
Thank you, panelists, for your very honest and encouraging words of encouragement. So as parents, our support is important to the children's development at any stage. The type of support given would need to differ with each child. As we support them, let's learn to manage our own expectations too. So at MOE, we cannot do this alone. Partnerships between parents, schools, and the wider community are essential to bring out the best in our children. As parents, let's be a facilitator and supporter of, rather than a director of our children's choices. We can have genuine and regular conversations with our children to find out what motivates them and what brings them joy and energy. Let's be our children's cheerleaders as they navigate their way. On that note, we'd like to thank you for your time and direct your attention to the resources shared in the comment section. See you on our next session of A World Beyond School. Bye!
Bye.